Okay, here we go. Hello there. Welcome back to another episode of Adventist Asia Podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, this is our church's podcast here in the Southern Asia Pacific Division that focuses on our directors and our coordinators that work in different initiatives around the division, proclaiming the good news of Christ wherever they are, and of course, empowering our church members and workers. Today, I'm in the studio with Mom Virgie Boloyo. The Virgie. Mom Virgie, Auntie, Tita, welcome po.
Thank you for the warm welcome. I'm glad to be here.
I've known you, Mom, for quite some time. Our offices were near each other when I was with youth, and so we're quite familiar and close with each other. Kaya it's ate, tita, all those terms. Thank you, Mom. And sure. Mom, when we're being formal together. Mom, this is our first time together here on the podcast, and so I think it's a good time for us to learn a little bit more about you. Could you share with us who you are and where you're from, your background, and what you do for our church?
I was born in Iloilo City. I'm very proud of my Iloilo Central Church, where I grew up as a young girl. And I'm a teacher. I taught preschool first, and later I taught in college. I'm a literature major, broadcast communications major, theater arts. And what else? Well, I am a mom of 3, and I have a son-in-law. No grandchildren yet,
waiting.
But
hint, hint.
praying. Yeah, hint. Prayers, Lord. And then I'm a fulfilled wife, thankfully, of Pastor Virgie Boloyo, and together we met. Nako, it might take.
Oh, it's fine, Mom. This is the juicy part of the podcast.
It might make the short story long.
Okay, it's fine, Mom. It's fine.
No, but yes, we met in college. You were not college sweethearts, but I was a teacher. And then a student said, "Sir, Pastor, there's I hate to say this, but I would just say nice, a nice teacher." And I like her, and I think she was implying I like her for you. And so that's it. She went to the college. Shortly after, we got married. So I think the Lord is our matchmaker.
There you go.
So that's the
short story. Okay.
Shortest of the long
Maybe
story.
in the next podcast, Mom, we're going to stretch that out a little bit longer.
Yeah. It will take a month.
No problem. We're good. I think JD can deal with the editing of that. Okay. So, Mom, what do you do now for our church?
I work as Women's Ministries Director and also Family Ministries Director. And I think these two departments, they're a gift to God, from God. I believe so much in the potential of women. And I believe so much also in the power of a well-disciplined and godly family, we may say. Family that is, of course, in this broken world, with all its challenges, they're still able to give light to the community, to show that even despite the challenges of life, they can still, I would like to use the word flourish, and I'm wearing the t-shirt.
I see it.
They can still flourish together. They can still work things out with intentional effort and by the grace of God. So these two departments are very dear to me.
Yeah. I think, Mom, today, we'd like to dive into women's ministry and in your role there. Have you experienced the connection of, say, what has brought you to be in this position or being elected here? Has something in the past allowed you to reflect on what you're doing now, and those experiences allow you to be a leader today? In
the church, we don't ask for these positions, I believe in the Lord's leading. So maybe we could go back further in my childhood. I was brought to the church through the Vacation Bible School. I was not a born Adventist. Yes, my parents were Christians, but they come to church during burial or funeral service, or although my mom, I think she was a faithful, I would say, Aglipayan. It's a Philippine Independent Church.
Okay.
an offshoot from Catholic Church. So we went through the procession, no? Mga procession, mga ganyan. So I was raised into that, but when she died, my mother died when I was 5 years old. And then I have a big sister who brought me to church, introduced me to Children's Sabbath School, and then we would go to Vacation Bible School. And so most of those I encountered in the church were women. Of course, we have our church elder, Brother Bell. I should mention his name. And his wife, Nang Lloyds, we call her Manang Lloyd Danila. She was our choir director. So most of my encounters in the church were women who were faithful, women who were nice, women who were friendly. So that's it. And I admired families in my church. The families who, in my childhood, I thought, being a child, they're the ideal families. But I know they would also have some fights. I would know that. But I see that they were more loving than having conflicts or fighting. So I admire these families. There were many families whom I looked up to.
Looking up to these people.
I looked up to these people. And there were some women also who became so friendly to me. So I think that's how it is that I've learned to love being in the Seventh-day Adventist Church because I've already experienced, even though it was really difficult because we were very poor, Tony. We had challenges with finances because, of course, my mother died early and she was very sick when she died. But when the Seventh-day Adventist Church have given me a sense of direction, to me, I saw the light. I saw the light and I know where to go. I knew where to go because when I studied the Bible, I had my I had a Bible studies. I had a long Bible study with Brother Bell, and of course, I was trained also in the church through the youth ministries. That's why I also love youth ministries. But I love young people. So I know how it is that when you are nurtured by the youth ministries, by my choir, by the Sabbath school, I became a teacher nga pala. 15 years old, nag-teach na ako sa mga bata. So I felt so included. My church was very inclusive. Kaya pinadala ako sa seminars. I started going to seminars maybe 15, 16, ganun. Pinadala ako and I was poor, so I couldn't afford the airfare, ganyan. So the church would spend for me. The investment that the church has done for me, I took it very seriously. At sinabi ko na, I've learned so much in those seminars. And I really took notes, ganyan. I was serious about them. So who I am now is because this is how my church trained me. Wow. They sent me to seminars. That's why I'm so passionate about training as well. And about being involved, getting involved in the church and involving the church, involving the young people in the church. So I think those perspectives, those experiences have honed me through the years. I didn't know I would go into this direction, but I think it's the Lord's leadings talaga.
That's a good perspective, Mom, because we sometimes at the local church level or at our local church, we can sometimes think, it's just a program. It's just something. It's whether it's for the youth or for women's ministry or for Sabbath, it's just a program. So I don't need to put all my effort in. But listening to you, Mom, it's like there are moments where we don't know, we may be affecting somebody's future trajectory, inspiring them. And so even though it might be a weekly service, we need to give effort for it. We have to put excellence in it because we don't know what's going on that person's life. Because you open up your heart, Mom. You said your family wasn't in the best position, but the church was there, loving you.
Church was my family.
You had people to look up to. You had mentors there. You had women that were involved in mentoring you. Those are very important. What is women's ministry doing now with you here? What are you doing to supply resources or or trainings to the women here in our division?
There's a lot. I was elected in 2020,
I think so.
And
yes.
Pandemic. Pandemic. It was difficult because of the nature of our trainings. We did it via Zoom. And so during my time, My first time, it was so difficult how to do it, but the Lord impressed me to do the Go Light Our World program, GLOW. So, I'm sorry, I haven't bought the bag here or the shirt, but we started with GLOW. In women's ministries, we have this to reach and go light, to go reach my world, no, something like that. So during my time, I added the line, go light our world. So glow, glowing to light up the path of others, because that's what I experience. So many people lighted the path for me, so I know where to walk. The program that we started in, I think, 2021, we Glow Evangelism Plan. And we did a training because we would like our women, since many of them have already the talent for speaking, to really speak and proclaim the gospel. I know there's so many women who are supporting, they are singing, they're praying, they're involved in registration, especially what we call the evangelism part of the church, which is our mandate. This is really the mandate of the church, to share the joy of salvation. And if we have experienced that joy, we can't keep it. We can't keep it. So our program then, beginning 2021 exactly, 2022 and even 2023 is the Glow Evangelism Plan. In that we presented the Healthy and Happy book. It has a script for the women, because I know women are scared to preach about highly formal things, and that includes the doctrines, the Bible, the fundamental beliefs. So in that book, the lines that we are going to speak line by line, and they are short, they're simple English. So thankfully, that book was translated in many languages. And so our women, we encourage them to use that book if they're scared to sing, to make their own script, or to make an outline. So it's all there in that Healthy and Happy book. So that's one. And also, we did many trainings, but I'd like to also mention that the Flourish material, and we are using this. We hope that next year, Flourish will be used by many of our women in the local churches. So we had a Flourish convention. It was to introduce it to them, but we started already because we want to begin a propaganda early, you know. My favorite writer, Donna Habenick, says, begin the propaganda early. So we began the propaganda in 2023. We printed this book, Flourish. And this book is all about thinking well, living well, choosing well. And this is actually the church answer to those who are having mental health problems, such as depression, anxiety. We would like our women and their families as well, even children, to know that when you choose well, you can live well. And then when you choose well, you think well, and then you live well. And it's all about also having a balance of good physical health first, good sleep, good food, the right kinds of water to drink, and then you make better decisions because of those. So you choose also when you get lonely or you get depressed, get anxious, you can choose to think peace, you can choose to think joy, and you could choose gratitude. So this is in this book, the Flourish book.
With you creating or being partners with this type of initiative.
This is General Conference Women's Ministries, correct, by the way. Yeah.
Is this an answer to something? Are there some challenges that we have here or around the world, or specifically here in our division, that this is catering to?
There are so many cases of mental health challenges, depression. I think it must be because of the times, especially the impact of social media. We've learned that it can get people become lonely. You're aware of the problems of many before you're just aware of your problem. Yeah. Then you see so many problems popping up from your relatives. They share those thoughts. So, and also the world peace. World peace is so difficult to achieve, and so we see that the world is contributing to our own problems. And of course, you've become more alone, more people alone and just spending time with their
The
phones. And of course, there are so many temptations. You see your friends becoming they're becoming richer, they're becoming more progressive, and you think yourself not as successful as them. So I think this adds up to the concerns of people, and they might harbor some feelings such as those. So this book is one of those. But flourishing is not just about having this balance in yourself. When you are flourishing, we go the next level, and that is just sharing how you flourish so that others will flourish as well, particularly flourishing in Jesus. Flourishing in the relationship with God, because we know that is really the peace, real peace, true peace, and happiness can really come from this.
I mean, I think it's a really good analogy how you know, using this theme of flourish, and there's flowers, you know.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, because I was with you in Bangkok during the past week,
and thank you.
Know, and listening to your speakers, they give emphasis on, you know, how plants work, and building an analogy to how we are how we are growing here on earth.
We can flourish.
We can flourish here. Sometimes there's ups and downs, right?
Many times.
Yes, many times. But the end product, or the product that you're looking for, is that beautiful flower.
Yes.
And knowing that, having our women look at one of these methods here, is a way that we, as we're flourishing in Christ, we're also flourishing in the community. There's impacts that can be made.
Yes.
I know, Mom, that you are traveling around here in our region. Is there any story or specific illustration that you may have or experienced lately in your travels that give inspiration to the work that you're doing and the initiatives that you're pushing out there? Do you have a story?
Okay, I was in Vietnam just last week. And I don't know if I could say it here, but it's a little restrictive there yet. And I've experienced a little of those restrictions. But when I saw the women in the church, and I saw the work in that field, I was amazed at how the women dedicated their time to attend the Women's Leadership Certification that we held in one area. They came, I think there were 300 plus of them, and they were assigned in different homes. Of course, these are not comfortable for them. For, say, 15 women, 10 women to be assigned in a certain house. They're all there together, and they arrived Thursday, and then immediately there was a meeting on Thursday afternoon, Friday, Saturday, but you could really see their enthusiasm. And they have a different kind of way of singing. They were very formal. They sang for the church hymnal. There were pianists, and the pianists were men. And the men supported these ladies. They were in uniforms. I know they didn't have much, but some uniforms, you could really say that they're quite expensive uniforms. It's amazing how they dedicated their time. Of course, they just sang during that time, but I know after that, they would go and in their respective homes, they would have communities, and I know they would serve communities as well because of the reports that we saw. They mentioned what they were doing. They were visiting the sick. They were helping the widows. They were praying for them, trying to give like primary health care or something. And they were really doing acts of kindness. And again, that's one thing that I would like to do to encourage our women. A-OK. Acts of kindness, or I would say it acts of love. So these are what really inspired me. And there's in Bangkok, we were there. There was one lady whose name is Sister Madarazo. Many years back, I saw a report of her building a church, helping build a church, not just financially, but even physically doing the building. There was a picture of her, and I know it's not just a one-time event. And I learned later that she has built like several church, more than one, I think more than two. And these churches are not really, expensive ones, well financed, but they were very decent church. There's even one that she helped build, together with the brethren. They're helping her, by the way. It was made of nipa, bamboo, okay. But they were so creative that when they sent me the picture, it was actually beautiful, and I could say that it's like like a work of art, work of women, really. So her name is Sister Madaras. I forget her first name, and I met her in Bangkok. We had a picture together, and I could see that her enthusiasm is contagious, so that the women also support her. So these are just one or two stories that I could probably share. But in the division, I would see our women, so many of them, really actively reaching out to the community. And I know that it is a sacrifice. But this sacrifice is, interestingly, a joyful experience, because that is my experience as well. Yeah. I think you probably know that I'm very much into care group. I believe so much in care groups, and I have this care group that we have worked for the past 10 years since I came in 2015. I came August, September, I think, yeah. And in November, I started with that community. That community started with Vacation Bible School. Now we have a church in that care group, and we have groups of young people. It's just inspiring to see them. So of course I'm busy. I cannot support them. I support in other ways. Because our group is called Feed My Lambs. So the feeding part is real. The feeding part is real. But I'm really inspired, even though it was hard work during that time. And so because I've experienced that, I'm so happy to share the same to my fellow women. And when I started there, I was diagnosed with anxiety for several years. And then that work with the care group actually helped me go back to being sane again. So even though it was hard work, but I enjoyed seeing the ladies, the children, especially the young moms, because I conducted a literacy class for them. When I saw them improve, when I saw them doing their livelihood, and in that community we were able to do the dish scrubbies livelihood, and that's one of my gifts usually, because there are women there, young mothers there who we helped with livelihood fund, and until now they're still earning. Yeah. Because of that. So sorry, I've talked so much.
No, it's okay, ma'am. This is good.
But these are real experiences, and it has given me real joy, and I think it will do the same for other women as well.
Yeah, I know, ma'am. Your department and the ministry you have with women's ministry, it's very vital to our church, because if you were sharing your first story, where you were in a place where maybe Christianity is not prominent, it's not a priority in that area, if we could say it in that term. And I noticed that in places where it's a challenge for us to share the gospel in traditional ways, women seem to be the people group that is able to do the mission in those places. There's many places around the world where traditionally men clergy or pastors may not be able to enter, but
may not be very welcome.
Yes, but women through the ministry of going house to house, giving first care, being in the community, seem to be the way of introducing Christianity and God's love. Yeah. So Flourish is very is the perfect word or the perfect phrase, the term to place our women and the ministry that you have. Mom, would you have any other resources that you'd like to share with us or with our brethren that they could get access to?
Oh, sure. I'm ready.
Ready? Yes.
I'm ready. So this year, this is our devotional, new every morning for 2024. Last year, we also printed the morning devotional. It is our goal that our women will be nurtured spiritually first, because you can only give what you have. So I personally read this book. I would have my devotional with this book as well. Even my family appreciates this. So it talks about God's love. His mercy is new every morning. So this is for 2024. And for 2025, we have this, He knows my name. We know that when we are connected to God, we abide in Him and He abides in us, we produce more fruit, right? So we would like our women to flourish and to be productive and to reach out to as many people as possible. We want to the heaven will be so full of people. If everyone can be saved, wow, why not? So we would like our women to read this, that it's assuring them. The title is He Knows My Name. The Lord sees us. The Lord knows us. He knows our name. He counts even the very hairs in our, the number of hair we have, and He knows us by name and He knows us by heart. So we would like our women to experience the same. And so this is for 2025. This is ready like a campaign.
Yeah. Is this something that we can order from our women's director or from our local conference?
From our local conference, yes, and particularly from the Women's Ministries Director. So our pastors, they can also channel their orders from our pastors. For it's Philippine Publishing House that prints this, and so we are working on this now so that it will be printed and be ready by November to be distributed to. Of course, Philippines is the largest market, but we have also many that order from Malaysia. Those countries that speak English, they know English, so they order from us as well. So these are our materials.
That's good. So, would you have any encouragement for our women or women leaders here in our division? Is there something you'd like to share with them to encourage them to, continue to flourish?
Yes, of course. During the convention in Bangkok, we had this commitment card. And it is our goal that when we are flourishing with our fellow sisters, and by the way, when you're with your sisters, you flourish better. Women, we work better with our fellow women. It is our goal that they will know Jesus passionately by reading His Word and of course in prayer. And it is our goal, it is our dream that these women will also serve and disciple other women, especially our young women, and to also use their spiritual gifts. So they don't have to be expert preachers only. They can be good well-wishers. They can be using their talent for singing, for praying, for cooking, for visiting, using their spiritual gifts to go reach and light our world for Christ. That is our goal for our women, even my goal for my own self.
Oh, thank you, Mom, for your time. I know you're busy. Maybe in the next podcast, we'll introduce family ministries and the work that's being done here in our division. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
So that's another episode of our Adventist Asia podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, you want to hear other stories from our directors in our division, please head over to Spotify or even to our YouTube account, and you'll find other episodes that will bring you more information about how our church works. And we're also inviting you to follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, so at least you get the updates when we have a new episode that comes out. Till next time, God bless.